Hello, Ali. Welcome.
Um, Hello.
How you doing tonight?
Um, I'm doing all right. Yeah.
Okay, it's better than
Um,
not. All right. You want to go ahead and
yeah.
just give us your? I assume your name is Ali, is what you'd like to go by, and then you want to give us your pronouns. Oh, it says she/her
Yeah.
right
My
there.
name's.
All right,
Yeah.
she/her.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay,
Uh,
Ali, she/her.
yeah.
All right.
Yep.
What can I do for you tonight?
Um. Okay. So I have two topics we could talk about.
Ooh, I get a
One of
choice.
which. Okay. So one of them is, I guess, because so the guy talking about disabilities earlier kind of brought up like, hey, maybe there's some stuff that I should bring some more awareness to, like the treatment of disabled kids in the school system and just how bad that actually is that people don't really understand, and really talking a lot about my personal experiences with that. But then there's also, if you just want something that's less heavy, less like all the other stuff, we could go for I don't think there should really be any immigration policies at all because it's kind of stupid if you actually break it down, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm gonna let you choose, I guess.
If you are leaving it up to me, just because we haven't talked about immigration yet tonight on the conversational part of the stream, I would go with that. But if you would like to dip into your personal experience with disability, I will not begrudge you that either. But if you're asking me, I would prefer the immigration, I guess.
Um,
But it's totally up to you. This is your time. This is for the audience. So whatever you'd like to discuss is more important. And we might have time for
um,
both if you can keep it short on each topic.
okay. Yeah, I would admit it. I do kind of want to talk about the disabilities a bit because it's a
Absolutely.
lot worse than, yeah.
Of course.
In my opinion, it's a lot worse than people assume because, like, all right, I'm just gonna go right ahead.
Sure.
Um, I want to know what you think the worst of it was. Like, what I'm gonna talk about, I guess,
My
maybe.
assumption. Well, what's your specific experience? Like, I don't know what your disability is, so I can't say.
Um,
Or if
I
there was somebody around
was
you with a disability.
okay. Okay, so I was diagnosed with autism at a very young age, but I was also diagnosed with oppositional defiance disorder and
Mm,
uh, uh, um, yeah, it was mainly in like sensory processing disorder, bunch of stuff like that. But I was in the special education system, which is really what I'm talking about. So I
mhm.
guess like because I'm trying to do a setup here where like we set the expectation, and then depending on how bad it is, I go, oh, it's not that bad, or oh, by the way, that gets much worse. It was meant to be dramatic, but
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take away from the dramatic element there. I guess. I mean, judging by like how disabled people in general are treated in this country, my first guess would be pretty bad. Maybe not like torturous, but at least bad enough that it's worth discussing.
I have news for you.
No, no. Is it bad news?
It is bad news. So,
Mm.
at least in my state, some of the public schools had solitary confinement cells for quote unquote behaviorally misbehaving kids.
That took a second to
Um,
absorb. Solitary confinement cells.
yes,
So
yes,
we're just.
solitary.
This isn't even bordering on torture. This is just torture then.
Yes, yes, it
That's
literally is.
that's insane.
Is it okay if I DM you like a picture of what I'm talking about? It's not going to be the same, but like
Yeah, of
it's an
course.
actual thing. Yeah. Here. How about, uh, let me just get that up there. Message. Yeah. So this is a real thing. Um, uh, that That one in particular has padded walls and floors. I will tell you right now, the one I had was not at all.
Jeez.
And it's blue, which mine was not. Mine looked a lot more like this, except again, a wooden door and no padding.
Jesus
And
Christ.
also, yeah, and um, and they would use literally any excuse in the book to throw you in there. They would use any excuse in the book,
Ugh.
like and they would physically drag you in there against your will, multiple adults. Like it was a very traumatic experience for me, and they would like rip my shoes off and any other thing I had on me, so I'd basically just have like nothing on me as they just threw me in there, and it's like all white. Like it was
Oh. How long did they keep you in there?
um as basically as long as they wanted, really.
Spanning from and to.
The end of the day, because they couldn't legally keep me there longer than like the school day.
The fact that they
But
could
they
legally put
definitely,
you in there at all is problematic, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah. So, and they can withhold your lunch until the end of the day. They legally have to give me lunch, but they always withheld it at the end of the day where we wouldn't even have enough time to actually eat it. And they wouldn't even let me go to the bathroom either. So what you think happens happened. I'd
Oh
just be
damn.
sitting in myself in there for hours and hours and hours. And the only outside stimulation you have is this tiny window slit. But even then, sometimes they would cover it up with paper just to be extra cool.
Oh my god. I mean, every word you say gets worse. I have no idea what to even say at this point.
Um, and like, this was not uncommon. This was across multiple schools in my state and outside of my state. It's never talked about. This is never, ever talked about. And I'm like, but it is such a horrible thing. And like I remember actually hearing about a law in Tennessee that like not, basically like oh no that they made the parents sign contracts before their kid could get into special education that they're not liable for any personal injury, and there would be injuries because oftentimes if I tried to put like a limb in the way of the door so they can't shut it just so I'm not locked in there,
Yeah.
um they would slam that on my limbs and I'd get injuries
That is
from that.
cruelty beyond my wildest imagination. I can't fathom. How old were you?
Like 7, 8.
Jesus Christ. I can't fathom.
Um,
The thought of ever treating a 7 or 8 year old half as cruel and inhumane as that baffles my mind. I don't know even like I don't know if words can express like how appalling that is.
yeah, and like the seclusion rooms isn't really like it. That's the problem. Like, you know how I mentioned that like it's not uncommon for teachers to like it wasn't uncommon for them to like drag me in there. Like it also wasn't uncommon for me to be restrained. But I'm not saying restrained, quotation mark, like the type they do in mental hospitals where it's sort of like they create like a little bubble around you and just prevent you from doing anything that could hurt yourself
Hmm.
or hurt other people, right? No. I'm talking about on the ground, like can't breathe because you got the weight of someone's like leg on your neck or something, and like, and I'm talking that level of like restraint. Like,
That's that's insane. I mean, that's like shit even like police shouldn't be doing to adults.
no, no, and and you know what? That's like I really feel for like like having that experiences have made me more aware of like like I don't. Never mind. Sorry.
You're fine.
I'm not just.
Take your time.
Okay. It's just like, but I guess I can't really say anything else because nothing else really like. Because like I could talk about how I was intentionally instigated into having meltdowns, so then I could be, or like the teacher like rewarding the other kids for not being disabled.
Oh yeah, so they encourage bullying and such.
Mm-hmm. Like
Yeah, that's a special kind of fucked up.
yeah.
So how do you I mean, looking back, how do you feel that's affected you, like mentally, physically, otherwise, and you're throughout the span of your life?
Well, I know that one of the things, because one of the things that they'd make you do is this was the quote unquote way to get out, right? The way to get out was you had to write an apology in the neatest handwriting you could have, and then you would have to keep redoing it over and over and over and over and over again until they were satisfied enough to let you out.
Actual gaslighting.
And I think because I know that someone I know who have had a very similar experiences literally just cannot write because the trauma of that time has like had them restricted to like having like chicken scratch handwriting because they can't. And I experienced that too. I have the same experience, and it's like so I literally can't write anymore because like they like that effect and like
So, if
you,
I can, when you say it affects your handwriting, do you mean like your hand shakes, or like there's an injury in your hand, or is this more a mental thing? I'm just curious. I'm trying to get the details here.
it's more like a mental thing. Like it's like my brain goes to write, it's stuck in that 8-year old like
It
mindset
almost
of how to write.
it sounds like a almost like a PTSD symptom.
Yeah. And I have been diagnosed with
I
PTSD
imagine
regardless.
so. You would certainly like I would. I mean, studying psych myself, I'd have to like ask you more questions. But yeah, I can imagine that would definitely do it.
Yeah. Um, yeah.
And you know, if I can, this is what I mean. So I've talked before about how conservatives, if you'll pardon my French, basically just want to call disabled people a retard and throw them in an asylum and forget they exist. Like that's literally what like when conservatives say bring back the asylums, that's what they mean. Like shit like what you went through. And so that's why when people say that, they have no idea what they're talking about. Like the word asylum historically in this country is associated with demonic shit, like shit I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemy. Torture, actual torture. And the fact that it just goes unchecked is it's unfathomable in the greatest country on earth and the richest country on earth, like anywhere for that matter, but certainly not here. But then you hear stories like yours and it's like, how did this happen? You know, and this is the world that frankly conservatives want, you know, and it's just disgusting. I can't, I can't wrap my head around it and what you've been through.
Yeah. 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 I
Go ahead.
I guess I just really just wanted to like I understand like there wasn't really much actual discussion around it because there was really nothing to say about it
That's okay.
other than like,
Listen, that is a valuable experience that you just shared, and I really appreciate it. Seriously, people don't hear that enough. Like this is real shit that is happening, and this is like people think okay when they think leftist, right? They think oh tree huggers or like they just want pronoun police, whatever. No, like conservative ideology. Just to put a fine point on the importance of what you're sharing with us, conservative ideology leads to the shit that happened to you. And that is what leftism is fighting every day. So experiences like yours are invaluable. And I want to make sure that that's clear. But thank you for
Oh.
sharing.
If you want, we can talk about the immigration now to sort of,
Sure.
um,
Yeah.
break away from that. Yeah.
Yeah. Of
So,
course.
in my opinion, sorry. Um, in my opinion, I think it's just kind of ridiculous to worry about who's coming into the country or not. As because like here's the thing. If you commit a crime inside the country, it's still illegal. I feel like this is basically the same as like the trans bathroom argument. Like if a trans person commits a crime in a bathroom, it's still illegal, right?
Mhm. Yes.
Well, it's not
Exactly.
exactly the same, but maybe like you can still do have like customs. So it's like, oh, you're entering the country. Oh, well, welcome to the country. What are you doing here? And all right, bye. Um, but like,
It should be much easier, at
instead,
least.
yeah, but like instead of worrying about like the drug cartels getting into the country, just arrest them while they're here. You already track them anyways, so why worry about it? Just arrest them while they're here and focus on those. Like instead of wasting resources on a stupid border wall that doesn't work, like just and like the real issue, because like then people are like, I really think a lot of the reason why people are even still like iffy about immigration is just like the idea that like if non-Americans mix with American, it's not America anymore. Like, because I know, like, I know I'm not really giving like the most in-depth like thing about it, but like, it's like if someone's gonna do something illegal, then they're either gonna be caught or they're not. So just if you catch them, arrest them. And
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah,
right?
I'm going to push back a little bit. I do think so. In an ideal society, my ideal society, there's no borders, right? I'm a border abolitionist, and that is what I would like to work toward. Now, that being the case, I'm also like a gender abolitionist, just to kind of make a comparison point. And as a gender abolitionist, that doesn't mean I want like all the gender stuff torn down tomorrow. Like I don't know how feasible it would be to just tear down the borders tomorrow. I do think that there is value at the moment in checking people and making sure that they're not bringing dangerous things or dangerous people into the vicinity of you know like if we can keep dangerous people out, I'd rather do that is my point. And I think it's fine to check people at the border right now, even though I'd like to phase it out.
Right.
As far as cartels go, right? Like that's
Right.
one of the good things about border enforcement is it does, I believe, help mitigate cartel activity in the United States. You know, and I think that's a good thing if you can mitigate cartel activity within our borders. Like that's what our country can control. That's what our powers that be can control. You know,
Right.
and I would, like I said, I would like to see a society where we don't have any more borders. But I don't know. I guess I would have to think about it more. I'm not like a super expert on this or anything, but I guess in my opinion, I see where you're coming from. Like if like they shouldn't, they certainly shouldn't go after people who aren't committing crimes. Like if you're just trying to cross the border to get a job and live a decent life, then you should be allowed to do that. You know, like the immigration policies need to be eased tremendously.
Right.
I do think there is value in knowing, having a general idea of the people we are letting in. But that's about as far as I'm willing to go on that. Like
Yeah.
it should be far, far. Like I said, eventually I'd like to see the disintegration of all borders. So that's where I stand
Right.
on it.
Yeah. And like like you were saying, like there are some valid reasons, like have like security checkpoints and just do like basic screening of people
Yeah.
entering and stuff like I totally agree. Like I would not I'm not against a checkpoint and somebody writing down like who you are, what's your reason for visiting, do you have any past criminal history or something like that. I don't know.
I'll give you
Like that's
like um actually, now that I think about it, my dad told me this, and my dad's like a mega conservative, so I don't even know how true this is. But for instance, like let's say that I was going to talk about bed bugs, you know, because like what my dad told me is that bed bugs were basically eradicated in the United States until people from the South brought them over. But now I realize I'm thinking about it. That's probably just racism that he instilled in me. So I'm gonna go away from that one. But what I will say is like, in theory, right? Let's say that there's some kind of illness that we've managed to eradicate in the United States, and they haven't yet in Mexico or South America, right? I think
Right.
it's fine then to put up a checkpoint specifically to ensure people entering the country do not have that communicable disease. And if they do, don't turn them away. Don't just send them back. You know, give them treatment, and then when they're cured, they can come over. You know, like I
Right.
said, like it's fine having checkpoints. I'm not against checkpoints and making sure we're keeping people safe. My problem is how it's enforced. We just want to ship all South Americans and Mexicans back in one big truck and call it a day. Like that's not humane, first of all, and second of all, it's not even economical. It's not practical. Like why would we do that? It's stupid.
Right. I mean, skipping the fact that, considering that Mexican American heritage is like a whole thing,
Mhm.
like like that, it's kind of become an ingrained thing over hundreds of years, right? But like like so like in a way, like doing that would also be genocide in a way, but uh, well, but like like yeah, like I'm like checkpoints like that.
My thing about checkpoints is I want to know why they're there. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
So, for instance, like just because somebody is from Mexico doesn't mean they shouldn't be allowed to come here easily. Like, it should
right,
be an easy process. Okay.
right,
The fact that somebody is from that area does not mean that they can't come here. If they're from that area and that area is known to have, again, some sort of communicable illness that we've eradicated in the United States, just hypothetically, check them for that illness. Are you carrying
right,
like super COVID? You know, we've
right,
eradicated super COVID in the United States. So are you carrying that? No. Okay, you're good to go. Like it should be practical. And right now
right,
it's just like racist. So
right, right. Yeah, yeah. But like I guess my main point, like I was just trying to say, like,
mhm.
like, well, you know what I was trying to say. It's just maybe if we just like we stop worrying about people coming in committing crime, and just realizing that there would be crime there regardless of like people coming in or people not coming in. Especially considering like the own population tends to commit more crime because they're not at risk for being deported.
Yep.
You know, so it's like um we should just stop worrying about like people committing crime other than basic screening that you would do really anywhere. Where it's you know, like
Background checks.
like right, right, you know.
Yeah. Agreed.
So like, but yeah, yeah, but yeah, like I was saying, I just think we should stop worrying about crime and and start because at the end of the day, like it's still illegal, regardless of
It's
if
not
it's
it's not a valid concern based on all the data we have of uh, undocumented immigrants who live here currently. Like they commit
right,
lower rates of crime. So if you're going to deport anybody, deport natural born Americans because they're way more likely to commit crime.
right.
That's how I think.
Um, yeah.
Okay, is
Um,
there anything else you'd like to add?
um, I guess not. I honestly thought I had more to say on it, but I guess I had like that opinion of just like,
Hmm.
like it's still legal in the United States, so why worry about it? I guess I just didn't. Um,
I
no, I
understand
guess
what you're
not,
saying.
but I
Yeah,
hope that, I could bring awareness to the fact that the school system and stuff like still like that, like stuff like that happened, and it happened, and it's probably still happening, um, you know,
oh yeah,
all across the United States, and
definitely in red states for sure.
yeah.
Well, I really
Anyways,
appreciate you sharing your experience. Like I said, um, you know, that's That's huge. To get rid of that, because children across America and even the world are going through that same thing, and to be able to mitigate that as much as possible should be a goal of ours. So
Right.
thanks again for sharing.
Yeah. All right. Well, I hope you have a good rest of your day.
I will. You do the same, okay?
All right. Bye.
All right. Good night.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more, hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload. If you enjoy my content, you enjoy what I do, I really appreciate any financial help that I can get. Go to youtube.com/AlecGunterTTV/join. You got some awesome benefits, such as seeing early videos, awesome emotes that you can use in the comments of YouTube videos, and a sweet badge next to your name. So if that sounds interesting to you, I'd really appreciate if you join. It is cheaper than the cost of a blowjob from your mom. So with all that being said, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.